right? So I was at one of these events and I was not prepared. I saw this beautiful, elegant goddess walk to the front and start to spit her poetry, and I was completely moved and inspired, and just like I had no words. Like, I was so glad I wasn't the person going up after her. So after all of that, please put your hands together for my friend, phenomenal poet, Passion.
Hello.
Come on, y'all can give her a little more energy than that. Passion is coming to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Happy holidays. So Rob pretty much told you everything there really is to know about me. I just got started in March of this year. I am a member of Urban Voices Heard. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary on December 5th. The turnout was amazing. We had some really dope poets. We do have a show every second Saturday of the month, again at Books in the Hood bookstore. The show is from 4 to 6, doors open at 3:30, so any of you that would like to come out to support us, you can feel free to speak to me afterwards. I'm very friendly, and I can give you any other information that you might need. I'm going to just go ahead and jump right into my stuff, okay?
Yay. Holla.
Holla back. Righteous speakers and preachers telling me not to drink and smoke while they sniffing coke, asking me if they could buy a bulb. Like, you really asking me for a loose and a sip of my booze? I went to church to bear my sin, but I was bearing skin, seducing you from the pulpit, distracting you from your message. Now, you're offering me counseling because by your own personal accounting, this is the perfect financial equation for me to pay for my salvation. Advocate, talking about awareness because despair is the new norm. So you diligently work to establish a form when you can't even establish a quorum. Can't even get the masses assembled, but our abusers, aka protectors, can still make us tremble, fill us with trepidations of them raping our sons, who are only guilty of being our sons, only guilty of being the ones who were born into the mayhem of a fatherless home, only guilty of loving a mother who wants to be left alone, only guilty of seeking love in the streets, only guilty of being deceived by the glitz and glamour of material possessions, only guilty of being touched on their no-no parts when we sent them to confession. Only guilty of being directionless because we, once the future, now the present, have misled them. Only guilty of continuing the cycle because we don't turn to our Bibles. Only guilty of miseducation because instead of learning about our sexual partners, we hastily procreate with them. Only guilty of being our sons and our daughters who are out of order because they're guilty of trying to be like mommy who's sleeping with Tommy.
That's Miss Neighbor Lady's husband. And Miss Neighbor Lady got a bun in the oven that's not even Uncle Tommy's, but his brother Johnny's, because Miss Neighbor Lady was guilty too. She was a daughter that was out of order because her first lover was her mother's brother. Guilty because in her case, mama wasn't there and daddy was unaware. Guilty of being raised by men who only wanted to bend over lost little girls much like her. Guilty of being a tease because she couldn't please her daddy and all of his mans. His right hand being her mother's brother, her first lover. She was guilty. And she still is. But now, it's her kids that will be guilty. But back to the other daughters who are out of order and out of sorts and in and out of courts for housing, public assistance, and child support. Yes, back to they who are guilty of raising themselves because their guilty parents have put them on shelves and left them to their own devices. Suffice it to say that when they did dream, they might have overheard somebody tell them to pray or teach them to say, "Our Father." Well, ain't having. Of course, they didn't get too much further because they already preferred the touch of the deacon man who was laying hands on her sister's name, and her little brother Sam. Guilty of buying into a mentality that was dynamically instituted so that hope would be uprooted. Buying into a mentality where no truth is viable or valuable. Buying into a mentality sold by victims of broken dreams, broken homes, and broken hearts, sold by the hypocritical elite, the righteous speakers, the preachers, the teachers, the leaders. They got mentality for sale.
Yeah!